The Reserve Bank of India on Wednesday sought views from the public on fees and charges in digital payment systems. It stressed that such charges should be reasonable and competitively determined for the users to ensure wider acceptance of digital payment modes. The payment systems include IMPS, NEFT, UPI, and debit cards, among others. In just 6 years of launch, payments made using UPI have become commonplace, with the platform boasting over 26 crore unique users and 5 crore merchants. According to a report by payments company Worldline, UPI person-to-merchant transactions have become the most popular payment method among consumers, holding a market share of 64% in terms of volume and 50% in terms of value in the first quarter of 2022. One of the key reasons for UPI's popularity is the zero merchant discount rate. It is a fee levied on merchants for processing payments. The government has mandated a zero charge framework for UPI transactions with effect from January 1, 2020. As such, charges in UPI are nil for users and merchants alike. But the RBI explained that different stakeholders collectively incur a cost of 2 rupees to process a UPI person-to-merchant transaction with an average value of 800 rupees. The RBI acknowledged that in any payment system, the payment service providers or PSPs should earn income for continued operations of the system to facilitate investments in new technologies, systems, and processes. The various participants in the UPI include the remitter and the beneficiary banks, payer and the receiver's UPI app providers, their PSP banks, and the National Payments Corporation of India. The system facilitates the settlement of transactions using a combination of these participants. While reiterating that the RBI has neither taken any view nor has any specific opinion on the issues raised in the discussion paper, it posed several questions for feedback. Can a tiered charge structure be imposed for UPI based on different amount bands? In the context of zero charges, is subsidizing costs a more effective alternative? If UPI transactions are charged, then should the merchant discount rate be imposed based on the transaction value, or should a fixed amount be charged irrespective of the transaction value? Further, it has sought feedback on whether the RBI should decide on the charges or the market be allowed to determine if any such charges are introduced.
This shift from zero to it could be whatever 0.25, 0.35, 0.5%, whatever it is. I think that can happen in a very gradual manner. Having said that, I think today, as far as P2M transactions are concerned, the merchant is the one who bears most of the costs. And I think that they will be also okay with bearing some cost for the UPI as well, because they are currently paying for debit card, credit card, net banking, all other payment modes. I think UPI will be just an addition. My personal view again is that the pricing should be ideally attached to the value of the transaction. Just hypothetically, if the charge is say 5 rupees per transaction, but if a particular individual is making a UPI payment of say 20 rupees, for the merchant, it actually becomes a 25% cost. Today, we have for debit card, especially, we've got these different pricing for different slabs. Maybe that is something that can also be considered. For large value transactions, yes, even if it is a fixed price, for example, I think even that is something that should be fine. But I think for P2P, so even if they are kept at the minimal, if not zero, I think even that should be fine.
If you have a small merchant, I think he deserves to continue having zero MDR. But if you have a larger merchant, that person perhaps can afford a certain amount of MDR, right? So one structure which may or may not be right in my mind is, instead of trying to categorize who is a small merchant or a large merchant, just see the value and volume of transactions that are happening against the merchant. A percentage actually is a good number. If it's a large value transaction, then the MDR is a little higher. For a very small value transaction, the MDR, because the percentage can be, and the way you keep the percentage can also, for a credit card transaction, for example, it's in the 1.5% range. For a UPI transaction, doesn't have to be that high. It can be a lot lower. A flat fee actually becomes prohibitive for really, really low value transactions. So I think it should be still okay, right, to keep P2P as zero.
The industry says the days of free UPI transactions cannot continue forever, but at the same time, it is not in favor of the government subsidizing it through budget every year. Experts say P2P payments should be kept free, while the charges can be recovered from the merchants for P2M transactions. Though there is a difference of opinion on what could be the ideal pricing structure, protecting smaller merchants and encouraging small ticket transactions remains the priority. Industry executives believe pricing should be market determined through competition, with the RBI only stepping in if monopolistic tendencies are seen. Despite its meteoric rise, UPI still has a long way to go in terms of adoption. Therefore, settling on any pricing mechanism will be a balancing act between growth of digital payments and incentivizing the system.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
सब अच्छी दिख रही हैं यार, कौन सी खरीदूं?
ये तो वही बात हुई, 4000 शेयर्स लिस्टेड है, कौन सा लूं?
वो तो सबसे आसान है।
तुझे 5 पैसा नहीं पता?
अब तो सबको पता है। 5 पैसा पर है 4000 स्टॉक्स की रिसर्च, टेक्निकल टूल्स और इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज। डाउनलोड 5 पैसा नाउ।
अब तो सबको पता है, investing made easy and rewarding with 5 paisa. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.